CJ Peterson, and welcome to The Journey is Real. We talk to real people with real passions who share a real portion of their hearts. Today, my guest is Justin Goodbread. We're going to be talking business education. Know your value. Thank you for coming on today, Justin.
Hey, CJ, thanks for having me.
This is kind of a unique passion. I don't normally kind of go into the financial realm as far as passions go, but would you please explain to people what exactly business education means?
Business education is basically breaking down the complexities of business for those who are business owners or those who want to be business owners or those who work for business owners. So you can understand how crazy we really are so that we can, we can tear this complex thing that we call business into simple bites so that we can improve the lives of the people as a business owner to whom I have the honor and privilege of serving or working alongside. Or if you work for a business owner, learning how the business owner thinks so that you can help improve the lives of the people that you have the honor and privilege to serve or that you work alongside. So it's basically business education takes all this mess, simplifies it so that we can improve.
Now, with the challenges of this year, has that thrown a bunch of wrenches into the mix, or how were you able to go around them? Because I know a lot of people are financially hurting right now, especially small business owners.
Yeah, so this year has been fun, to say the least. In Knoxville, Tennessee, where I live, we literally had a tiger on the loose in the town in the midst of everything. And we had an airplane. Oh, yeah, a live tiger loose in Knoxville, Tennessee in the midst of COVID. And we had an airplane land on the middle of our town in the interstate in the middle of this year. It's been one for the record
Oh my
books.
gosh, that was that. Yeah, and I thought we were having trouble in Texas. I couldn't imagine a tiger running down the middle of the road.
Police officers driving down the interstate. There's a tiger walking down the interstate that's right next to a neighborhood, a tiger.
Oh my God.
So 2020 has been weird, but when it comes to education, when it comes to what I love, which is helping business owners improve the value of their companies, improve their net worth. I often say, I want business owners to be able to double their net worth every 3 to 5 years. And so we teach them how to do that. So 2020 has been the year that it's exposed the opportunities. I hate to say weaknesses, but the opportunities that we have in our business. It magnified the cracks in our business, or it magnified the strengths of our business. So depending on where you're at as a listener or where I've been as a practitioner, in this 2020, we now have the ability to go back and solidify the weak areas of our business. So there's things that we have opportunity for improvements, or we can build off of those strengths that we were able to have before COVID kicked in this year.
Yeah, you really know if you've got something, if you've been able to come through the year pretty well unscathed. We have an apiary, so raw honey is always in demand. So we weren't super affected by anything, but we know a lot of small businesses around here that have had to close their doors, and it's heartbreaking.
Yeah, my mother actually does honey. She has like 35 hives. I'm scared to death of bees, so God bless you on that one.
I'm actually allergic to them.
Yeah,
but I wear double clothing so they don't come through. Our bees are we call them gangster bees. They're pretty rough and tumbly. They come at you. So
Yeah, no, you're right though. Business owners, it seems to be they're in two sects this year. Either those that have been unscathed for whatever reason, maybe they're in a particular business like an apiary, maybe like, there's all sorts we could go into. But even those businesses which we thought would never be affected. So for example, a dental office, I mean, think about it. Everybody has teeth. They were shut down for 16 weeks. We have clients who were shut down for literally 16 weeks this year and could not see patients. And so they're panicking. They're like, man, we're in this business model that we should be needed. I mean, we're a necessity style business, but yet we can't go to work for 4 months. I mean, and yet, because of good planning that they were doing prior to this time, they're having the best years of their career with being off of 4 months, 16 weeks. So now we're looking saying, dude, man, maybe you need to take more time off, or maybe you need to improve capacity in your business if you really were that inefficient beforehand. So 2020 gives us an opportunity to really take a step back and look into our business and decide, what are we going to do with 2021? 2020 has been here, and hopefully it's going to get done before too long.
2021 scares me, to be honest.
2021 can be the best year of our careers. I say this all the time. business owners. You're one, I'm one, right? Business owners, we're the type of people that grab the bull by the horns. We're going to charge hell with a water pistol. Someone tells us no, we're going to show 5 ways to show yes. I mean, that's who we are. So, yeah, 2021 came along, it kicked a square in the teeth. We fell on our butts. We got back up. 2021, I'm sorry, 2020 was that way. 2021 is going to be the absolute best year for our businesses. It will be, as long as we think in our way and we start making the plans for it to be so.
Right. If you have a plan A, B, C, and D, and your A has a plan A, B, C, and D, et cetera, then you can come around and swing back around and hit it.
Absolutely.
So this is a unique passion. Where did it come from?
So my dad and my mom kind of suckered me into be a business owner when I was 15. My dad looked at me and said, son, if you don't have a job by Friday, don't come home.
Oh, dear.
Literally at 15 years old. So my dad, now he's an old country boy from South Georgia where I was born and raised. Mom actually had a degree in nursing, worked at the hospital down there, and they had this whole thing planned out. I was homeschooled at the time. I was homeschooled most of my life. That was a little weird. I'm the guy that walks up to the door, it says pool, and I pushed on it. I mean, that's how we are as homeschoolers. So he said, son, you got to have a job, but you can't work for a fast food restaurant. You can't work for anybody I know, and you can't work for a grocery store. Go out and figure out how to make it work.
That's all the 15-year-olds out.
Yeah, well, and I'm in a small town with the last name of Goodbread, and everybody knows a Goodbread. So he had this thing worked out with a Mr. Brown, who at day 5 in this week on Thursday night, I ended up grabbing a lawnmower and going and cutting Mr. Brown's grass. And Mr. Brown paid me $40, of which I found out my dad gave Mr. Brown $40 to pay me. So I come home on Friday, the day that I'm supposed to have a job, and my dad comes home hot and stinky from the port, working for the man, so to speak. And he said, do you have a job? I said, well, kind of, sort of. I made $40 today. He sat down beside me. We had the conversation about how it all transpired. And he said, son, I want you to learn something. If you work for yourself, you will never, ever come home hot, stinky, tired, and broke. Mm-hmm. Now, you may be in your early years, but you can build a career. So at age 15, I had my first business. It grew, sold it when I was 21. In that time period, as it was growing, I was making more money. My brother and I making more money at cutting grass, doing landscaping than my parents were together at their age of 40s and 50s. We were making pretty good income. So I was told, hey, I need to go get some advice. So I went to meet with a financial guy, Wall Street guy, and he said, son, when you learn how to make money, come back and see me and I'll teach you how to make more money. And I was like, Betty, come on, man. I'm making more money than my mom and dad. This is ridiculous. So I said a lot of nice words to the guy, went out in my own world and met the CPA who said, I can show you how to file taxes, but no one would talk to me about business, about how to grow my business. So my passion came from years of starting and selling businesses. Mm-hmm. And then I read a statistic and it broke my heart. To me, one of the saddest places in the United States, saddest place in the world is a graveyard, not because somebody's died, but because their whole life experiences are often buried beneath and will never learn from their life's lesson, their wisdom they have. But I remember reading the statistic from the Exit Planning Institute that said only about 14% of business owners ever sell their business. Mm-hmm. So we have business owners out here, myself included, who pour our blood, our sweat, our tears into our business, and yet more than likely, we will never reap the benefit. 80% of our net worth as business owners is in our business. Mm-hmm. So we take all our profits, we pour it back into our business. We end up being 60 years old, 70 years old, 80 years old, even 90 years old, stuck having to work just to make a living because we didn't follow what our comrades did who were employees and save money outside of our business. So whenever I started seeing that, I said, there's got to be relentless execution, and we've got to change the paradigm. We have to change the paradigm for the hardest working, the backbone, the economic engine of our society. There's 5.3 million businesses in that small business market that employ almost 40% of our population.
Wow.
And they're broke. So that's where my passion came about, is I want to help people realize that we can grow businesses and we can do it in such a way that we can benefit and we can help those we have the honor and privilege to serve.
Okay. So you kind of sort of gone into my next question of how do you use this passion to help others? Do you have a few practical ideas that you can share that won't infringe on your normal?
Yeah, no, I can give away the farm. So first thing I'll say is on Financially Simple, I give away 99.99% of the information in our head that we work with on a regular system. And if I knew the other 0.01, I give it away. So I firmly believe the only way that we're going to grow as a society is if we help each other. Mm-hmm. I firmly believe that. So I'll give away anything. From a practical standpoint, we have to know a starting point. So let's get extremely practical. Business owners, if we look at our net worth statement, we realize 80% of our net worth is our business. That's the study's fact. It's been proven. I've seen it hundreds of times in my own career. If we start and we say, okay, today I'm worth $500,000, $1,000,000, $1, whatever it is, I'm worth something today. I know where I'm at today in my business, in my personal life. What are we doing this for? Why are we in business? Are we doing it for revenue? More than likely, yes. Are we doing it for freedom? More than likely, yes. Are we doing it for legacy? More than likely, yes. And many other things that we all could aspire or say right off the bat. So if we know where we're at today and we know what we're trying to accomplish, maybe it's a dollar figure because that's what most people can equate to. So let's say we're worth $100,000 today and we need to be worth $2 million in order to reach our goal, whatever that number is. Then we have a starting point and we have an ending point. If you can accomplish just that one exercise, you now oftentimes can figure out how to do it. So if you can just figure out where you're at, take assessment of where you're at in inventory today, personal finance, business-wise, et cetera, and then get crystal clear on what you want to accomplish. Again, I believe entrepreneurs are the backbone. We're going to charge hell with a water pistol. We're going to figure out how to get it done.
Yeah.
So if you can just take that practical advice. Now, what we end up doing is we actually devise plans. Once we know where somebody is and where they want to be, we actually devise plans that make them hyper tax efficient, hyper value, make their companies grow super fast. We know how to grow their net worth internally, externally. We get rid of all the wasted expenses. We take the headache out so that business owners like myself, I just got back from a 3-week sabbatical and the company grew while I was gone. We want business owners to truly have a company that's producing a golden goose type of scenario. So that's what we do. We start where we at, where we want to be, and how do we get there?
Gotcha. Well, being the kind of planner person that I am, I'm a little bit fluid, but I am pretty well have like a blueprint. I can appreciate what you're saying. And I get it because your brain has to continuously be fluid for instances that come up, like for example, in 2020, when you're shut down for 4 months. You have to have a plan already in place. So when that happens, it doesn't really mess you up too bad.
Absolutely. Not only do you have to have a plan in place, you have to have contingency. So I use this example, CJ. I live in Knoxville, Tennessee, beautiful Smoky Mountains here, right? I often use that. I want to go to Portland, Oregon. I've never been to Portland, Oregon in my life. I've heard it's a beautiful little city, or big city for me. I want to go there at some point. Well, if I'm going to go from Knoxville, Tennessee to Portland, there's a myriad of ways. I could actually take a boat if I wanted to, go down the Mississippi River, get around, go through the Panama Canal, come back up to Portland. It can be done from my location. Am I going to do that? Probably not. I'm probably going to fly or drive, right? But I have a way. What happens if all planes are grounded? I'm hell bent on getting to Portland, Oregon. I can get in the car. So we have to have multiple ways. But even along that trip, what happens if the flight gets delayed? What happens if the car has a flat? What happens if? That's where planning, that's where my world comes in together. Is we know where we're at, we know where we want to be. Now, what's the most tax efficient and time efficient method to get me there?
I totally like that. So people who want to know more about you, because you also have a podcast, don't you?
We do. Financially Simple Podcast. Yes.
And all of that's on the same website, correct?
Yes, you can go to financiallysimple.com, and on financiallysimple.com, it has out excerpts into the podcast, the videos on YouTube, all of our social media, courses, books. We have a new book coming out in the spring of 2021 here about the same, here very soon. That's called Your Baby's Ugly. And is dealing with the fact, my dad used to say, hey, son, you never tell a woman her baby's ugly. Sometimes you do though. So the title of the book is Your Baby's Ugly, talking about that our businesses are not what we set out to make them. We end up running around like firefighters, putting out our fires, chasing our tails. And you can create a golden goose. You can take a 3-week sabbatical and have your business grow. I'm proof it can be done, but only if you intently make it do it. So we got a new book coming out, but all that is found on financiallysimple.com. I'd love for people to check it out.
Awesome. And how do you spell financiallysimple.com?
Oh, great. One of the things that I'm not good at is spelling. In fact, I can do algebraic equations in my head. I cannot spell. So I'm going to read this. Financially Simple, FINANCIALLY, simple, SIMPLE.com, financiallysimple.com.
Yeah, you have to be more proactive instead of reactive in business. If you're proactive, then you are continuously putting out fires. And if something like 2021 comes up, you're going to sink. If you're proactive and you stay a slight bit ahead of the game, it makes your life a little bit more easy.
Absolutely. Well said. Well said. Yeah. And as business owners, if we're not careful, what's the old saying that we often work in our business versus on our business? I can't tell you how many times, CJ, I listen to people, they sit down across the table from me, or we get on a Zoom call with clients nationally, and they say, hey, Justin, I'm X years of age. I'm 45 years of age. I'm 60 years of age. I am no better off today, financially, business wise, whatever their measurement is, than I was 10 years ago. I just had that happen just this morning.
Wow.
Just this morning, I had a business owner say, 10 years ago, I'm worth the same amount of money as I am today.
That's not
Help.
good.
Now they're making more income, top line profit. They're making more income, but because they've never laid out how they're going to reach their goals, they're just no better off.
Right. Yeah, goal setting definitely is a helpful portion of it. And your podcast is helpful. Do you also have an email list on there that they can sign up for?
There is. Yes. We have a newsletter that goes out, thousands and thousands of thousands. I don't know how many business owners are on that now. The podcast has over 300 episodes on it. It's us talking and teaching. It's a teaching podcast. It's not, we have a couple of interviews, maybe 20 out of the 300 podcasts, but it's actually teaching business owners exactly what to do.
Nice.
Here's the thing. Education without application leads to stagnation. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We get on and we learn so much. We're in the information society. We have so much information even at our fingertips that my number one recommendation to every business owner out there is hire a coach. Hire somebody who's going to get behind you, just like we had when we were kids on the soccer, or football, or volleyball court, who's going to scream and yell and just do everything they can to kick us in the teeth and kick us in the butt and say, go win the trophy.
Well,
That's what we need in our
you don't need
business.
to reinvent the wheel. I mean, even as a beekeeper, we have a mentor. He's been doing it for over 50 years. He helps us out. We call him all the time. It's like, if you have that person that's already made the mistakes so you don't have to remake them, it makes life a little bit easier. And the help, when you get frustrated and you're like, where do I go from here? If you have a mentor somewhere in there, business wise, either has the identical or somewhat close to it, but is successful at it, they will help you out, I'm sure. And that's one of the reasons I started the Journey is Real. I wanted to get real people out there who have real stories to share and real practical things to do. For example, this one, that can help others.
CJ, I am by all means, people would consider me an expert in the world that I operate in. Receive national awards, write for national publications, on TV consistently, often a platform speaker at conferences, written books, you name it. I have a coach. Mm-hmm. I hire a coach from my business to help me because we can't see what we don't know. We need someone looking at our blind spots. So my number one advice, 2020. Yeah, it's been the apocalyptic year if there ever was one. I mean, seriously, tigers on the street.
Yeah,
Tigers.
I say that somebody started the Jumanji game and just walked away and left it. So everything is still chaos.
Yeah, that's about the truth. So 2021 though can be the best year ever, but you're going to have somebody as a business owner who can put the blinders on us, who can keep us focused, who can motivate us, who can keep us centered. And without that, we're bound to repeat the same mistakes. We're bound to not be prepared for the next time Jumanji gets let out of the box, right? So my number one advice that I've been giving people these days, whether it's on this type of a show, on national media, whatever, is hire a coach. Now's the time. Hire a coach. And if you don't have one, check out Financially Simple. Our team here is experts at what we do.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a few months before 2021 starts at the point that we're taping this and recording it. So when it comes out, 2021 will either be coming around or just come around. Use the time wisely. Don't waste it. Find somebody, even if it starts in the beginning of January, find a person to come up beside you. Take like 3 or 4 weeks and revamp everything you need to go forward and just continue making tweaks to the plan on the way through. We Absolutely. Have about 3 or so minutes left. Is there anything you'd like to add?
Whenever we're looking at 2021, here's my top big nugget for you. Pick 3 different objectives that you want to accomplish in your business, no more. Study so that you cannot accomplish more than 3 things within a business in a year's time. Pick 3 things. Let's call them our objectives. For each objective, break it down into 3 specific tactics that you're going to employ to accomplish that objective. So let's say we want to develop a marketing plan. What tactics are you going to employ? Mm-hmm. So for those 3 tactics, each of those put 3 action steps for each tactic. So 3 objectives for each objective, put three specific tactics, and for each tactic, put an action step. And on that action step for each of those, who is going to do it? When is it going to get done by? So you're going to end up with 27 different things if you follow my advice.
Mhm.
27 different things. They're going to have names and dates beside those SIPs. Once you write that out throughout the year, come hell or high water, do not add anything else to your list that you want to accomplish that year. If you will get hyper focused on just 3 things, you'll be amazed at what your business profitability, scalability, retention, everything that I can measure. You'll be amazed at what it'll be in 2021. And you can make 2021 the best year ever.
Nice. I usually go with the rule of 3. If somebody has an issue, I say don't come to me with an issue unless you've got at least 3 solutions. So yeah, I totally follow the rule of 3 all the time. And I think that's very good sound advice that you gave. Justin, I want to thank you so much for coming on today and sharing your expertise. It was very enlightening and very helpful. For
Thanks for
those
having
who
me.
want to learn more about Justin and his financial business education, you can find him on financiallysimple.com, financiallysimple.com. Well, thank you for coming on today, Justin. We appreciate
Thanks,
you.
CJ. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for all you do.
Thank you. And thank you for listening to The Journey is Real, where we talk to real people with real passions who share a real portion of their hearts. I'm CJ Peterson of cjpetersonwrites.com. Until next time.